Dart Zone finally sponsored one of my videos with the Dart Zone Quatroblast. Oh my god. I'm just kidding. No, of course, they haven't sponsored me yet. They haven't sent me anything. This I just bought at my local Goodwill. But hopefully soon, Dart Zone will eventually send me stuff so I can do reviews on, I hope. Dart Zone, if you're watching, please help me out, man. But, guys, Spider Avenger Miller here looking at Dart Zone Quatroblast. Picked this up at Goodwill not too long ago, and honestly, it's a very cool blaster. I've only seen this featured on Aaron Escher's channel, but it's a very, well, also coupe. But this is part of the Dart Zone Covert Ops series when they were kind of revamping and making new blasters again. And this time, cooler blasters. This is more a Dart Zone version of the Zombie Strike Dominator. Sorry, I had to think of it. But again, a Dart Zone version of the Zombie Strike Dominator. That one was a blaster very similar to this. I think the only thing that it really did differently was kind of the priming handle. But anyway, external overview, no end strike barrel lug. This is not a Nerf brand blaster. Down below, we do have a priming handle to prime. You do that. Prime stroke itself is pretty smooth. It's a little finicky just because it's doing a lot mechanically, but it's a pretty smooth one. But also, that noise, that just sounds like a pure bad dry fire. But honestly, it sounds kind of cool, but it'll sound better when you're shooting it. And this foregrip up here is kind of like a AFG kind of foregrip, so it's one that you can curl your thumb into, but it's also one that you don't have to hold on to like a shotgun priming handle. This one you can just curl in and just kind of, which is very cool. Back behind, we do have somewhat of a tactical rail. I don't think this accepts Nerf attachments that well, but I can test that later. And then, of course, down below, we do have the loading system. This loads in a 6-round capacity cylinder that has 4 rotating. So loading this is pretty simple. You can just put darts in like that, and the capacity of each one is 6 darts. And when you are done with your cylinder, you come back to this main trigger back here. Don't worry, I'm not flipping you off. But with this, you can rotate your system until you get to your cylinder. And then, of course, when you're there, you can actually start using that. And then, of course, as he's giving me the middle finger.
No, I'm not.
But
you have no proof of this.
During that system, of course, with this cylinder system, it works pretty well. It's not as smooth as the Flip Fury, in my opinion, because with this one, it does kind of finick out at times, like that. But if you go slow and just like that, it works pretty well. Honestly, no gripes with that. Down to the trigger. The trigger pull is pretty nice. This blaster does have slam fire, meaning you hold down the trigger and slam fire like that. And it works pretty smooth, but I do have some rotational issues that I'll go over in my opinion. Now back to the grip. The grip itself is actually pretty comfy. I remember looking at some of the Dart Zone grips. They look a little uncomfortable, but they're actually pretty comfy. Especially with this system, it works pretty well just to fire mainly. And then, of course, extend your middle finger to flip. And, of course, back, no stock attachment point, even though they look like they had to purchase for one. But that is an external overview of the Dart Zone Quatroblast. Now I'll show you firing. What are you looking at?
Nothing.
You're very close, man.
You walked over here.
I'm sorry, do you want the hip thrust? Hip thrust. Hip thrust.
Hip jump.
Hip thrust.
Hip jump.
Hip thrust.
Hip jump.
Wait, you were recording the whole time?
Well, no, this is awkward.
X-nay that from the final cut. Oh, and I'll also, a little heads up, darts on waffle head darts will be used primarily throughout the whole video. Let's cue music. Starting with primarily Dart Zone waffle head darts, which are ironically the more active version of what this blaster used to come with, the original Dart Zone darts. Now trying some slam fires. Huh. Now just doing some of these darts for the wows, just to show how inaccurate these things are. And that's why we're going to use wood darts. So overall, firing this thing was pretty fun. As you saw, I had a lot of hiccups. Those I can't really explain. I would assume that's just from either me not really doing it right, or I assume it's just because this blaster's old. And also the rotational issue, as I said, isn't the best on this, but it's not terrible. Like I said, it's not a bad one either. Did I clip my finger? I clipped my finger and there's blood. That's weird. I'll patch it up later. But overall, this thing isn't bad. Like, it's a really good blaster. It's fun to use. But I kind of want to see if the Doominator is a little bit easier to use, because I'm not saying this isn't, like, the greatest, but one... Imagine trying to finick with that when you're in battle. You're just like, crap. And it just starts spazzing out on you. That could get annoying. But, that's all the objective information I can really provide. Now, to my own personal opinion. Honestly, it's not a bad blaster. The Quatroblast is a unique blaster, and it feels really cool to use. It's just, sometimes, I don't know if I have a lemon or I just have an old one, but this one doesn't work the best. As you saw, some of the slam fires weren't really firing, and then some of them I accidentally, like I think there was one to where I saw in the firing demo to where I primed back and it fired one, and then I fired another one. I don't really know if that's the fault of the blaster or me, but overall the mechanics feel kind of gimmicky a little bit, not really as refined. But you gotta remember, this was old Dart Zone, before they had stuff like the Nexus Pro and all that, which was a lot better. Even with this, you could feel it's kind of creaky. This was old Dart Zone, so it's not like the best, but still, Dart Zone was making some really killer blasters before they made stuff like the Nexus Pro. Like, this thing was one of the good ones, but overall opinion is not bad. But I would want to see the Doominator, just see if it's a little better. But thank you guys so much for checking out my video. If you can, please do me a favor. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button. We are nearly 300 subs. Woo, woo. We're like, I think 3 off. So if you guys want to do me a favor, please help me reach that goal. And I don't know, maybe I'll do a special video for it. I don't know what video I'll do. I'll talk to the Web Warriors about it, see if there's some kind of special video we can do. But if you could do me a favor, please smash that subscribe button so that we can reach that goal. Thank you guys so much for checking out the video. Spider Avenger Miller, shall see you later. Bye-bye.